Hey everyone. In Matthew 7, 1-12, Jesus gives one of his most quoted and most misunderstood commands: do not judge. Now, many take this to mean that we should never make any kind of judgment at all. But when we read it in context, we need to see that Jesus is not forbidding discernment. Jesus is warning against that judgmental, condemning spirit. See, the Bible's not a quick reference book for pithy answers. It is a living word. It's a wisdom book meant to shape us into people who reflect God's kingdom. And in the kingdom, the ability to distinguish between right and wrong, truth and falsehood is essential. As Jesus points out in John 7:24, he says, stop judging by mere appearances. Instead, judge correctly. So the issue is not whether we judge, but how we judge. The Greek word Jesus uses here in the passage in Matthew is krenete. It can mean to decide, to distinguish, to approve, or to condemn, depending on the context. Now in Matthew 7, Jesus is teaching his followers to judge with humility and mercy, not with hypocrisy or superiority. He warns that with the measure that you use, it'll be measured to you. So before we try to remove the speck from someone else's eye, we must first take the plank out of our own. This is a call to honest self-examination and repentance before offering correction. And when we do correct, it must be with gentleness, with mercy. The goal is restoration and reconciliation. Jesus balances this warning with another verse in verse 6. He says, do not give what is holy to dogs. Do not throw your pearls before pigs. This is not about writing people off, but about exercising discernment. The gospel is like a pearl of great price. Some will reject or even attack it. We need wisdom to know when to share and when to wait. And that wisdom comes from God himself. That's why Jesus immediately says, ask, seek, knock. These are present tense commands. Keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. And in the context of the Sermon on the Mount, this is not about asking for material things, but for God's own wisdom, asking for God himself, his holiness, his love, the ability to discern rightly as we should in his kingdom, and to follow mercy even to the most difficult people. See, our Father delights to give good gifts to his children, and the greatest gifts are those that help us to live like Jesus. Finally, Jesus sums it all up with what we call the golden rule. He says, in everything do to others what you would have them do to you. Now, this is not the negative version you may have heard elsewhere. Don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. Now, that requires very little of us, doesn't it? But Jesus' positive command calls us to active love, doing good, even if it's not returned. It is that ethic that fulfills the law and the prophets. So what does this mean for us? First, we need to examine our hearts before judging anyone. Second, we need to pray for the wisdom and discernment that God can give about where and how to invest our spiritual and physical energy. Third, we need to live out the golden rule, taking the initiative to bless others rather than waiting for them to bless us, to show God's love to the world, not waiting to simply be loved by others. The way of Jesus is a community formed by mercy before the mirror. First repentance, then help. First prayer, then action. First humility, then truth-telling. This is holiness that is humble and loving, not proud, not exclusive. This is the kind of kingdom life that reflects the heart of our King.